It was as if the glass peaches that he had given away were worthless. Zhang Tai watched from the side and agreed with Song Qian's words. Glass peaches were indeed worthless, but the Zhang family and the Wang family did not make many of them. They were not very useful and were only for viewing. They were not even as good as glass windows. Thus he nodded as well. Li Dong wasn't sure. When he saw the two colors in the glass and the shape of the peach, he immediately thought of its use. If someone made a birthday and took it out, it would be a big deal. He estimated that it would be worth at least 1,000 strings of coins. It was not a small sum. He reached out his hand and carefully touched the peach. He heaved a sigh of relief. When he looked at Song Qian again, his gaze was different. Song Qian, a good name. It was a gift. Hee, brother Song, you must be joking. This item is rare. I think you must have spent a lot of money. I'm ashamed to accept it. Where was I just now? Oh, I remember now. Look at my memory. It's easy to find County Magistrate Mu. Tomorrow at this time and place, I will definitely invite County Magistrate Mu. Also, there's no need to pay 3 times the price to occupy the land to plant white folded peaches. Listen to my advice. Nowadays, the farmers in Xinlua are having a hard time. Just pay them according to the previous year's harvest, and there will be people fighting to do it. As if he was afraid that the other party would not believe him, Li Dong even analyzed. Food is cheap now. Even if there's a good harvest every year, the money earned is less than half of what it used to be. If there's a bad year, the farmers will starve to death. Give them a stable job, who would not agree? Am I right? Then, what if someone doesn't agree and doesn't give up the land? Song Qian was still worried. Don't give up. If they don't give up, use force. Not to mention occupying the land. Even if their way is in the way, we still have to tear it down. It's useless to seek death. We have to tear it down. After all, Brother Song is thinking for the sake of more people. I think County Magistrate Mu will think the same. Li Dong smiled as he gave the idea. Song Qian and Zhang Tai nodded repeatedly to express their admiration. Song Qian rubbed his hands excitedly and poured wine for Li Dong. He raised the cup. Brother Li, I'll drink first as a sign of respect. If this matter is successful, and there won't be any local people causing trouble, we will have to get closer to County Magistrate Mu. Brother Li is family, so I won't be polite. Cheers tomorrow. Don't forget. Li Dong raised his head and drank up the wine. He then looked at the glass peaches and felt even happier. The 3 of them left after having a good time. Watching Li Dong leave in the car with the 7-star step and the 5 elements boxing, Wei Wei shook her head. With such a person in Xinlua, it would be strange if he didn't die. Once he gets benefits, he doesn't care about the lives of the people. He will be much more relaxed. It's good that he dies. Remember that when Mu Tang comes tomorrow, he must choose a place where there is land. Then he must choose a place where there is land. Then he must choose a place where there is land. We'll talk about it later, Zhang Tai said with a cold smile. Song Qian nodded. Should we give them money to settle down after the houses are torn down? Yes, but don't give it to every family directly. According to the compensation for the demolition of the Tang dynasty, it's already a lot to give 1/5. Hand it to Mu Tang and let him distribute it. Let him distribute it. Won't he be greedy? Let him be greedy. When the time comes, think of a way to tell the real compensation amount to the people who are being demolished and make Xinlua lose the hearts of the people. Also, the land can be used to plant baidizi. Xinlua also has a mountain. There are many medicinal herbs on the mountain. Buy the mountain and let people go up to find the medicinal herbs. After finding the medicinal herbs, we can raise the goats up there. Zhang Tai recalled the arrangement in the little young master's plan and told Song Qian. Song Qian was stunned and asked in confusion. Raise? Raise what? There are still small trees and turf to protect the soil. Hire people to dig them out and let the other party be vigilant. There's no need to worry about herding goats. Goats are good. They can eat trees and eat the bark below. They can eat grass and dig up roots. When that time comes, Xinlua will be barren except for baidizi. As Zhang Tai spoke, his voice became softer and softer. His heart palpitated. When he thought of Xinlua's future, he couldn't help but shiver. The next day, Li Dong found Mu Tang and came here. County Magistrate Mu, do you still remember what I said to you last night? This is an opportunity to solve the problem of poor food for the farmers. As long as we settle this matter, the farmers in the county will never have to worry about poor food in the future. Your political achievements will be greater. On the way, Li Dong was afraid that Mu Tang would forget what he said last night, so he reminded him again. Mu Tang nodded repeatedly. I remember. Don't worry, I know what to do. Isn't it just helping them give up the land and waiving their 10-year rent? I'm worried that if I waive their rent, the county's income won't be able to support it unless I leave immediately. You can't bear to part with it. Understand. It's not that I want to criticize you, but your ability is not good enough. You have to learn. When there's a chance for the Tang dynasty to bring in the monopoly game, as long as you can enter the top 100, it will be much easier to deal with this kind of thing. Li Dong said to Mu Tang in a teaching tone. Before Mu Tang could ask, he continued. County Magistrate Mu, in terms of economics, you're not as good as me. Do you admit it? Yes, but it's good that you admit it. How can rent-free counties money? Oh, it's called finance. If they plant by DZ, whether they make things locally or transport them away, they have to pay for the transportation, right? When the time comes, you can collect taxes from our Xinlua's logistics industry. Is that money? Yes, it's money. I didn't think of it before. Mu Tang nodded. The people help to farm and earn a lot. Do they want to buy things? If they don't have land to grow food, they naturally have to buy food. With a stable income, they naturally have to buy other goods. Where do they buy? Naturally, it's the local shops. The shops naturally pay taxes after making money. If they pay taxes naturally, the county's finance will have money. Should be more than before. The rent from before is nothing at all. Mu Tang heard Li Dong say naturally and said, Sai, that's right. Otherwise, why do you still have to learn? If it were Zhang Xiaobao, you would know what to do without even thinking. But what do you think Zhang Xiaobao did? I haven't heard from him recently. A while ago he said that he was assassinated and tormented my Xinlua. Now there's no news. As Li Dong spoke, he suddenly talked about Zhang Xiaobao. His excitement disappeared in an instant. He had a feeling that Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't be so kind. For example, the road repair matter. 1 million strings of coins had been spent. Until now, the road had only been repaired for 200,000 strings of coins. The remaining 800,000 strings of coins couldn't be recovered. The contract was written clearly. There was also the 500,000 strings of coins that were taken out later. When the river was connected, the people from the imperial clan finally explained the matter clearly. When the Tang Empire collected taxes, the Tang Empire didn't pay a single copper coin to connect the river. Originally, the Tang Empire wanted to pay. If they hadn't stopped it back then, wouldn't they have saved a lot of money? Would Zhang Xiaobao be so kind as to help my Xinlua? He sent that money giver to plant by DZ. Do you think there's a conspiracy? As he thought about it, Li Dong began to mutter. It seemed that he was talking to Mu Tang. County Magistrate Mu shivered. He was very unwilling to hear that name. He had complained more than once in his heart. He complained about why Li Longji of the Tang Empire sent Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to Jili province. It was really terrible. Since the arrival of the two of them, he had to be on guard at all times. Especially after the sword meet on Mount Hua. He had stationed 30,000 soldiers at the border. Even so, he couldn't be at ease. When there were more soldiers, there were more troublemakers. It was difficult to control them. There were 5,000 soldiers stationed in the county. Usually, he had to curry favor with other people's generals and control his subordinates. Logically speaking, since the assassin hasn't been caught and it's not confirmed that it was Xinlua who assassinated him, the soldiers at the border and the gunboats in the sea should have been withdrawn. Why are they still there? Li Dong muttered again. County Magistrate Mu swallowed his saliva and said nervously, Don't tell me you want to attack my Xinlua? Have you ever seen someone send provisions to others before attacking them? Guess it's Japan. Maybe the two of them want to attack Japan. It's because Japan is too far away and difficult to control. Or maybe Li Longji is worried about the two of them and sent soldiers here. They don't want to compromise. So the gunboats are also placed along the coast. Yes, I guess so. When we get there, we'll ask them secretly. Li Dong thought of a reason. Mu Tang nodded again. When it was close to noon, the two sides met. Song Qian was very enthusiastic. As soon as the banquet started, he asked someone to bring a few beautiful glass products. Then, he gave Li Dong and Mu Tang a reception voucher of 1,000 strings of coins each, which could be used between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand. This was not the kind of money that could be spent to replace the proportion, but it could be directly used as money and paid in full. During the banquet, he had many flattering words for County Magistrate Mu. He introduced the future of Niha County and explained the matter of the demolition. He also mentioned the joint development of Niha County's agriculture and animal husbandry, as well as the prospects of charcoal export. County Magistrate Mu's eyes lit up, especially when he knew that the money for the demolition would be distributed by him. His eyes were filled with the image of the Tang banknotes. He also asked about the relationship between the Wang and Zhang family and the Tang emperor. Zhang Tai and Song Qian kept it in mind and felt that they could tell the young master and do something about it. Therefore, they started to answer vaguely, neither confirming nor denying. Their attitude was very ambiguous. The banquet was very enjoyable. Before leaving, Mu Tang stood at the door and asked Song Qian, who saw them out, Brother Song, when is the best time to demolish the house? I'll go back, see you later, arrange it. No hurry, it's still early. Just vacate the land before the spring. Just like the spring plowing in the past, a little earlier. Song Qian looked very easygoing. Okay, I'll arrange it. Mu Tang agreed. Waiting for the two drunk people to leave, Song Qian smiled and said to Zhang Tai, Move before the spring. It'll be cold then. You can't plant the white fold seeds so early. I don't know when the young master and the others will come back. It's almost the new year. They probably won't come back before the new year, Zhang Tai said with uncertainty. As the new year approached, the weather in the northern regions of the Great Tang suddenly became clear and sunny. Even the Turkic lands were covered in drifting clouds. Although the wind was still cold, there was no sign of haze in the sky. The fisherman's wife felt that it wasn't good enough to live in the palace, so she asked the fisherman to find that talking fish. She wanted to be the emperor of a country. The fisherman came to the seaside again and shouted to the sea. In the end, they returned to that small shabby house. High in the sky there was a group of hot air balloons. Zhang Xiaobao was telling a story to his younger brother and sister in one of them. The more Xiao Yuan listened, the angrier she got. When her brother finished, she slapped her thigh and said, Aya, that silly woman is so greedy. Is so silly. Xiao Bei, don't be so silly in the future. You're the silly one. What do you think I'm doing? But that woman is really silly. If it were me, I wouldn't want so many things. Xiao Bei was very dissatisfied with Xiao Yuan and then expressed his thoughts. Zhang Xiaobao smiled and asked, Then what do you want, Xiao Bei? Me. I want to become friends with that talking fish. I want her to take me to places I've never been before to play. When I see something good that doesn't have an owner, I'll pick it up and go home to find someone to sell it. If you want a good house, you can have a palace. If you want someone to covet me, my friends will help me teach them a lesson. Xiao Bei said very seriously. You're even more greedy. Xiao Yuan began to criticize Xiao Bei. What do you mean by greedy? Becoming friends is being greedy. I can also give her benefits. For example, I can tell her stories. For example, I can cook good food for her. I can even find someone to hold a party for her every day by the sea. A powerful fish like her must be very lonely, the kind that can't stand the cold at the top. I get material enjoyment while she gets spiritual. Xiao Bei retorted righteously. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at each other. Zhang Xiaobao whispered to Wang Wan, "Looks like there's no need to tell Xiao Bei the story of getting something and making 3 wishes. She'll definitely say that the first wish is to obtain countless wishes." "Think so too. Our Xiao Bei is still the smartest." Wang Wan agreed. "Brother, do you think I'm right?" Xiao Bei looked for his brother at this time to judge. "Yes, you're absolutely right. That's how it should be. This is called sustainable development." Zhang Xiaobao nodded helplessly. Just as they were talking, another compartment door opened and a head popped out. It said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "Young master, young lady, good news. We've already made contact with Fengzhou. The connection has just been successful." "The connection has been made. Ask them if they've found any traces of the Turks." Zhang Xiaobao had been waiting for this moment for a long time. The person answered and retracted his head to ask. Before he could finish asking, there was suddenly a sound from above. Zhang Xiaobao opened the lid. Before he could ask, the person who appeared above reported, "Young master, the boat at the head of the ship has discovered a Turk tribe moving south about 10 kilometers ahead. Go up and take a look. Xiao Bei, you guys stay here and don't move." Zhang Xiaobao didn't expect to receive 2 pieces of good news at once. He and Wang Wan went outside and were blown by the wind. They picked up the binoculars and looked down. Sure enough, in front of them, there was a dark mass of small dots moving like ants. "What do they want to do?" Zhang Xiaobao asked, puzzled. When Zhang Xiaobao's party discovered the Turks who were born with telescopic vision also saw a group of things gradually approaching in the sky. They immediately shouted and ran toward the big carriage. Mo Jilian and Special Agent K were in the carriage discussing how to contact the Tang people and let them know that they were not hostile. They were shocked by the news. Chapter 863. On the snowy ground, there was a sea of people. In the sky there were colorful flags. As Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's hot air balloon team gradually lowered its altitude, the Turks below could see so many flying birds that seemed to be flying towards them. Tens of thousands of Turks looked up. The Turks further away had no choice but to ask the people around them, hoping that one by one they could pass on the news of what was in the sky. A servant serving Mo Jilian also saw the thing in the sky through the open roof of the carriage. He felt his master's body tremble as he massaged Mo Jilian. He couldn't help but worry. He mustered up his courage and asked, "Monarch, what is that?" "Something deadly," Mo Jilian said blankly. He picked up the clairvoyance that Li Longji gave him and looked at it carefully again. When he saw the picture of 2 rice seedlings standing hand in hand on the cabin of the hot air balloon, the clairvoyance fell on the soft carpet. "It's over, it's really over, how is it possible? Aren't they in Jili province? When did they come here?" Mo Jilian shouted, his eyes full of disbelief. Keitachin was also shocked. He didn't need to pick up the clairvoyance on the ground to know who Mo Jilian was talking about. To be able to scare Mo Jilian like this, and to say them and Jili state, it was easy to guess who it was even if he thought with his toes. Thinking of the legend about the 2 people, Keitachin asked Mo Jilian with a trembling voice, "Are they rice seedlings?" 2 rice seedlings with them. Mo Jilian didn't say anything, but his trembling body had already told Keitachin the answer. Looking up at the floating things in the sky again, Keitachin felt that his mouth was going to cry and his throat was dry. He said in a hoarse voice, "This is the Air Force of the Tang Empire. You saw the hot air balloon on Mount Hua?" "Yes, it seems that Li Longji is anxious. Otherwise he wouldn't have sent them here." Mo Jilian's eyes gradually became clear. There was no use in worrying now. At this time, a group of people hurried over. They were the advisors of the Turks. The one in the front said to Mo Jilian, "It's too high, we can't shoot it down. It's best to lure them to lower their altitude. As long as we shoot that thing up there, they will fall down." Mo Jilian didn't answer this person. Wei Wei hesitated and said, Pass my order, the soldiers around the carriage, leave an open space and welcome them with me. My lord wants to lure them down, and then. The advisor wiped his hand on his neck, his eyes shining. I want to tie you up and bring you to them. I want to say that it was because you people dissuaded me that I did those unwise things a while ago. My lord, you can't. We have countless warriors. If we ask for peace, we will chill their hearts. The advisor knew what Emojilian meant and advised anxiously. They definitely have more bullets and shells than our warriors. It's better to chill their hearts than to make them make up their minds. You think Wang Wan can't do it? If we do anything else, she can dye the vast grassland red with our blood. Emojilian said and looked up again. He was afraid that a bunch of grenades would be thrown down from above. Keitachin had heard some information from the people who went to Mount Hua. He knew that this kind of hot air balloon battle method. He didn't think that the other party would lower their altitude if they really wanted to hit him. He quickly ordered, "Go do as my lord says. I will welcome them personally." At this moment, he finally suppressed his unwillingness. He originally wanted to discuss with the Tang Empire to settle his people who were about to freeze and starve to death. As for himself, he would probably have to live in the capital. What he didn't expect was that before he took the initiative to contact the Tang Empire, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan actually came personally. Although it felt like a passive surrender, the result wouldn't change. With the order, the people in Keitachin's headquarters scattered and made way for the carriage they were in. There was a large open space around it. At least arrows couldn't hit it. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were ordering their subordinates to tie grenades. Each grenade was tied with a thin and strong rope. The length was about 3 to 5 meters from the hot air balloon to the ground. When they pulled the string and threw it down, it would stop at this distance. Once it exploded, the shrapnel could fly down from this height. It was much better than throwing it directly to the ground. When they were preparing, someone suddenly came to report the situation below. The two found a good position to look down again. What do you mean by giving up the carriage they were in? Are you tricking us to go down so that you can catch us all in one fell swoop? No matter how good Zhang Xiaobao was at psychology, he couldn't guess what Keitachin and the others were thinking. The black mass of heads below was really dazzling. It should be that Emojilian understands how we fight. He knows that once we start, we won't kill anyone we meet. Instead, we will target the commander. He knows that he can't escape, so he wants to discuss with us to send someone down to ask about the situation. While Wang Wan was speaking, she had already seen Emojilian's figure through the binoculars. Emojilian walked out of the car and stood on the hard snow that was stepped on by the people in front of her. She looked up and waved vigorously. Emojilian wasn't the only Turkic tribe. There were several other tribes. When they got the general information, they rode their horses to Emojilian's location to ask. When Emojilian and Keitachin saw the worry in the eyes of the first tribe to arrive, Wei Wei inwardly sighed. They could see that this tribe was afraid that they would offend the Great Tang and didn't want to fight with them against the Great Tang. Along the way, many people had come to complain more than once, saying that they sincerely wanted to submit to the Great Tang. With this kind of partner, they wanted to fight against the Great Tang. That was a fool's dream. While Emojilian was waiting, a hot air balloon finally slowly descended from the sky. The hatch opened and 4 people came out. Ignoring the gazes around them, they strode over, creaking as they approached Emojilian. Their eyes landed on Emojilian's face as they questioned. "My family's young master and young lady want to ask what your Turkic tribe means. His Majesty has ordered you to submit to our dynasty, but you insist on running so far away. Are you looking for a chance to make a comeback?" Emojilian was taken aback. He hadn't expected the other side to be so direct, not giving him the slightest bit of face. The advisors standing beside him glared at him, their faces flushed red, as though they were trying their best to suppress the anger in their hearts. Finally, the advisor who had the backbone to persuade Emojilian couldn't hold it in anymore. He stepped forward angrily. pointing at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's subordinate, and scolded. "Who are you to dare speak to my sovereign like this? My people have countless warriors. Does your great Tang want to meet my people with weapons?" Clap. The person sent by Zhang Xiaobao raised his spear. The advisor's head was thrown back, and then he plopped to the ground, his eyes still wide with unwillingness. "Noisy." Mojilian reply. The person turned to a Mojilian. Mojilian's face burned as if he had been slapped countless times. His people were still watching. He had been bullied to this extent. If he didn't toughen up in the future. Why did the hot air balloon in the sky have a reflection, and a single one at that? Didn't the great Tang's clairvoyance already have 2 lenses? "Esteemed envoy, my clan went to the north a few days ago because we heard that there were precious furs and herbs in the north and wanted to gather them to offer to His Majesty. We've already gathered quite a bit, so we're moving toward Feng province. For these furs and herbs, my clan has already suffered countless casualties." Mo Jilian had determined that the reflection was the scope of the spear used by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's personal guards, and he finally knew what to choose. The other party wasn't just trying to scare him. Perhaps it had taken them many days to search for him, so they were fed up. If his answer didn't satisfy the other party, they would begin to kill all the commanders of his clan. The person sent down had not expected Mo Jilian to be so straightforward. Looking at the hot air balloon where the young master and young lady were, he hurriedly sent a telegram to ask what to do next. After receiving the message, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan glanced at each other. The 2 of them had been prepared for a fierce battle, but the other party had actually so easily yielded. It seems that they're very divided internally, and they probably don't have enough food. Otherwise, even if there was a sliver of hope, they wouldn't have come here. It seems that they're truly planning to get in touch with the great Tang and discuss the matter of completely submitting. Zhang Xiaobao thought for a moment and analyzed. Wang Wan nodded. "If that's the case, then didn't we come here for nothing? How could it be for nothing? At least we've traveled for a while, and we know in advance that they're not having a good time, so we have time to prepare. Pass down the order. Let Feng province ask for help from other places, and use all resources to transport food and fodder there." Zhang Xiaobao ordered the person who was waiting to send the telegram. Wang Wan also said, "Let the people below tell Mo Jilian that we're inviting them and the leaders of each tribe to live on the hot air balloon. The commanders of each tribe should also gather together and follow the designated hot air balloon. The team will be commanded by the deputy." Chapter 864. Mo Jilian and Kei Tachin sat opposite each other. It was Kei Tachin's first time riding this kind of thing, so he was a bit nervous. He was afraid that he would fall and feel uncomfortable being blown around by the wind. If he had to describe it, it would be the feeling of riding a boat. Compared to Kei Tachin, Mo Jilian was more experienced. He had ridden in the sword meet of Hua Mountain before. The only difference was that it wasn't as big and luxurious as this one. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan accompanied him. The younger brother and sister had already moved to another cabin. To be precise, the 2 of them had moved out. After a while, someone brought food from another compartment. There were 2.5 bowls of porridge, 2 large pancakes, green onions, and a small dish of sauce. "It's cold and there's nothing else to serve you. Please." Zhang Xiaobao broke the silence and put the food on the small table between Mo Jilian and Kei Tachin. Mo Jilian and Kei Tachin finally relaxed a little. They felt like they were captives and didn't dare to make a sound. Now that the food was placed in front of them, they realized that they were indeed hungry. Although they had eaten in the car, the tasteless meat was really hard to swallow. They only ate 2 small bites. Mo Jilian wasn't afraid that Zhang Xiaobao would poison him. He picked up the pancake and dipped it in the sauce. He opened his mouth and took a big bite. He nodded and said, "Delicious. It's so *king delicious. It's better than meat." Kei Tachin also couldn't resist the temptation. He picked up the pancake and imitated her. He took a bite and then a mouthful of porridge. He ate happily. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan watched from the side and knew why the two of them were eating so happily. One was because the Turks had run out of salt, and a little sauce was bliss. The other was because they often ate meat, and occasionally changing the flavor felt different. It didn't take long for the two of them to finish the porridge in their bowls and eat the pancakes. Even the sauce on the plate was licked clean. Touching his half-full stomach, Kei Tachin plucked up his courage and asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Zhang Xiaobao, what do you want to do to me?" "What can I do to you, Minister Kei? You took the initiative to bring back so many people, find so many precious herbs and furs, and are determined to contribute your life's blood and sweat to the great Tang's livestock industry. I have more than enough admiration for your noble character, so how could I do anything to you?" Zhang Xiaobao placed his hand on the glass window of the pod. After he finished speaking, a handprint appeared, and the scenery outside could be seen clearly. Kei Tachin's eyes widened. He looked at Mojilian and saw that he was also at a loss. He couldn't help but look at Zhang Xiaobao and asked, "What Shaoqing?" "Our great Tang's newly established Vice Minister of Horse Husbandry is a grade 6 official. Originally, it should have been grade 7, but after considering your request and the importance of military horses, the relevant personnel decided to make it grade 6. Zhang Xiaobao explained. Wang Wan opened the door of the cubicle next to them and placed 2 bowls of watermelon on the small table, indicating that they were ready to eat. Kei Tachin was dazzled by the cold melon in front of him. For the first time he found that the cold melon in winter could be so charming. Thinking of Zhang Xiaobao's words, he was even more confused. Mojilian helped him to ask, "Young Master Zhang, when was the horse husbandry established? Who are the relevant personnel? Is it set by the emperor himself?" "The emperor doesn't have time to care about such a small matter. The horse husbandry has just been established. You two were lucky enough to witness such a great moment when you were eating pancakes and green onions. The relevant personnel include me and Wang Wan. Eat, and in the future, the Turks will be able to eat cold melon in winter and live a happy life." Zhang Xiaobao introduced with a tired face. It was obvious that the related personnel were tired from discussing the matter. "Young Master Zhang, have you decided on such a big matter?" Mo Jilian asked. "What do you think?" Zhang Xiaobao asked. At this moment, several thoughts flashed through Kei Tachin's mind. If he captured Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and took them as hostages, would his tribe have a new life? If he killed them on the spot, would the great Tang return to the status of trading with his tribe? He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao was looking at Mojilian, while Wang Wan was looking out of the window with a blank expression. Opportunity, this was an opportunity. With his own ability, he could go forward and grab their necks. Then, "Young Master Zhang, it's great that you can decide. Last time at the sword meet of Mount Hua, I opened my eyes. I thought that young Master Zhang was only good at economic calculation. Who would have thought that you could also leap onto roofs and vault over walls? I think you must be good at close combat, right? Would young Master Zhang be willing to show us the weapons you carry?" Just as Kei Tachin was staring at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, leaning forward toward Weiwei, Mojilian's leg suddenly bumped into the small table between them and began to chat with Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao had a regretful expression. He smiled and said to Mojilian, "Mojilian, you're a good person. I don't have any ability to leap onto roofs and vault over walls. I'm just a bit more nimble like a monkey. I've already ordered the people in Feng province to quickly transport the provisions here. With both sides working together, I estimate that in less than half a month, the people below will be able to get through this difficult period." "Yes, it's very pitiful," Wang Wan said as she looked outside. "I don't know what's going on this year, but it's snowing everywhere. In the grassland, in the capital, in my Bohai Commander-in-Chief's office. It's snowing too. It's also snowing in Xinlua. It's estimated that there won't be a drought at the beginning of spring next year. It seems that we have to spend the new year outside." Mojilian and Kei Tachin didn't understand why Wang Wan suddenly brought this up. It was normal for it to snow. Could it be that it didn't snow in Tingri heaven? Wang Wan continued. That cow can't take it anymore. It's already skinny from hunger. And it's in a hurry. It probably won't be able to last until the provisions arrive. It's better to shoot it and give it a quick death. As soon as she finished speaking, Wang Wan suddenly had something in her hand. She looked down through the window and made a paw-paw sound. Kaitachin's sweat oozed from his forehead in an instant. He looked at Mo Jilian with lingering fear to express his gratitude. He recognized the thing in Wang Wan's hand. He once had a gun which was given to Mo Jilian by Li Longji. Later it was taken apart for research and found that bullets couldn't be made, so it was abandoned. I didn't expect Miss Wang to carry a gun with her. Kaitachin laughed dryly. Shooting birds for fun. I wonder if the position of Shaoqing is good? Wang Wan turned her hand and the gun was gone again. She asked Kaitachin. Chapter 865. Hundreds of thousands of people moved with difficulty in the ice and snow. Almost every moment, someone would fall and never get up again. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan frowned from time to time. Mo Jilian and Kaitachin also felt like their hearts were being cut by knives. After another 10 days, the hot air balloons ran out of fuel and landed on the ground. Kaitachin and the other tribe leaders were still protected by Zhang Xiaobao's people. In order to reduce the weight, the balloons in the hands of the other Turks were thrown away by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Seeing the hot air balloons that could not be used anymore being used as firewood, Mo Jilian and Kaitachin looked at the clear night sky. They gathered around a bonfire and drank spicy wine. Their hearts were filled with bitterness. Zhang Xiaobao, can you think of a way to get the people in Feng province to quickly transport the provisions? We can't afford to die. If our tribe continues to die, there will be less than half left. Mo Jilian glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and the others beside him and said to Zhang Xiaobao. At the same time, he sniffed and smelled a fragrance that he had never smelled before. He was very curious about what Xiao Bei and the others were holding. Xiao Bei was scalded and changed his hands back and forth. Seeing Mo Jilian look over, he did not care if it would dirty his clothes. He put the sweet potato in his hand on his pants and rubbed his hands. He pinched a piece of the sweet potato and gave it to Mo Jilian. Try it. Zhang Xiaobao looked at his sister and then at Mo Jilian. He introduced. This is called sweet potato. Can be used as food and can be made into powder. It is very delicious. After drying it, it can be turned into snacks. When the output increases next year, I will give you some to make porridge. Mo Jilian was stunned. He took the sweet potato and suddenly remembered the purpose of coming. Zhang Xiaobao, when will the provisions arrive? Soon. The road is difficult now. Your tribe has a lot of people. Even if the provisions arrive first, it will be a drop in the bucket. Hold on a little longer. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he wiped his sister's mouth that was blackened from eating roasted sweet potatoes. He looked at Moji with a helpless expression. A cry came from afar. Moji couldn't bear it and closed his eyes. He knew that another member of his tribe had died. He gritted his teeth and asked Zhang Xiaobao, if the people here are not from my tribe but from the Tang Empire, can't you get the provisions? This. Zhang Xiaobao, I'm begging you, please show mercy. I'm guilty, I shouldn't have taken my people away. Kill me, don't vent your anger on my people. When Mo Jilian saw Zhang Xiaobao's hesitation, she knew that if it were the people of Great Tang, Zhang Xiaobao would definitely have a solution. With a plop, she knelt in front of Zhang Xiaobao and begged. She thought that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not satisfied and deliberately wanted more people of her tribe to die. Xiaobao looked at Mo Jilian in front of him and frowned deeply. He didn't pull Mo Jilian back. Instead, he sat on the ground and looked at Mo Jilian. To tell the truth, if it were the people of Great Tang, let alone hundreds of thousands of provisions, I would have sent 1 million people here long ago. It's not that I'm angry at you, But I'm afraid that once I mobilize all the resources, I won't be able to guard against you. What if someone instigates and attacks me while I'm deploying resources? What should I do? No, I promise not. They have no strength left. Hearing that there was hope, Mog hurriedly promised. You promise. When it comes to the survival of a tribe, can you promise? How about this? Order your people to throw away all the copper and iron, kill all the horses and burn all the leather armor. Let the old and young eat their fill first and walk in front of the army. I can promise that within 3 days, there will be food and salt and tea. But the salt and tea will only be for the old and young. If you agree, you can give the order. Zhang Xiaobao finally relented, but he put forward a bunch of conditions. Moji knew that this was Zhang Xiaobao's bottom line. Hearing the gradually weakening cries in the wind, she nodded gratefully. Okay, I'll immediately give the order. We'll do as you say. Brother! After Moji left, Xiaobei leaned into Zhang Xiaobao's arms and whispered in his ear, Brother, don't let them eat their fill. Just now, when Xiaoyuan and I went to give some roasted corn to their leader's children, they glared at me. Oh. Then our Xiaobei didn't kill them. Zhang Xiaobao rubbed his sister's head and asked. Xiaobei shook her head. No, what's the use of killing a few? Unless all of them are beaten to death. Xiao Yuan said that they don't hate us, but hate the unfairness of the heaven. They are all like wolves who can be killed but can't be tamed. When they are fed, clothed, and educated, their ambitions will vanish. After a long time, the wolf may become a dog like a wild chicken or domestic fowl like a wild boar. Oh, our Xiaobei knows so much. Zhang Xiaobao praised. It's not me, it's Xiaoyuan. He looks so knowledgeable all day. It's annoying to look at him. Xiaobei put the softest core of the sweet potato into her mouth and muttered while sucking on her fingers. Zhang Xiaobao did not expect that Wang Wan's younger brother would start to study this matter. He smiled and wiped his sister's finger that was stained with saliva, and then asked, Then the people of the Tang Empire will not be hot-blooded, right? Not even as ambitious as the Turks. That's not the same. Xiaoyuan said that the foreigner's ambition is to seize, while the Tang Empire's ambition is to create. That is to say, when the people around them see that our Tang Empire has good things, they want to snatch them. Our Tang Empire makes things that make our lives better. They don't understand the benefits of creating things. As long as we don't let them become emperor, we will continue to create, right? As Xiaobei spoke, she could not understand, so she could only ask her brother. Zhang Xiaobao could not explain too deeply to her sister. Even if he said, Xiaobei would not understand, so she could only nod in agreement. Moji, who had gone to give the order, did not go so smoothly. Many people were not willing to throw away their weapons, let alone kill the horses. Moji could not persuade them, so he began to force the people in the tribe to do so. He even killed a few hundred people to achieve his goal. At dawn, the group set off again, moving much faster than yesterday. Horse meat was also food. Those who were full would be able to replenish their strength and have a stronger resistance to the cold. Moji, Chin, and the other Turkic tribe leaders did not have good expressions. They were worried that if they really submitted to the Tang Empire, they would lose their status. They were even more afraid that the people in the tribe would see Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's guards and not have any bad thoughts. Moji repeatedly told the other tribe leaders about the power of the Tang Empire's weapons and told them to suppress the dissatisfied tribesmen. If there was a conflict at this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would probably harden their hearts and destroy the entire Turkic Empire. Walking on the road, there were still people who froze to death from time to time. Those who caught a cold did not have any hope of surviving. Every time they moved forward, there would be a few corpses left in the group for the wolves who did not dare to come forward as food. In the howling winds, the mood of the Turks was even more unstable. Several times, some people came out of the group to attack Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's group, but they were discovered and killed by others. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not seem to know. They continued to chat and laugh with Emoji and the others, treating this trip as if they were traveling. Occasionally they would find a snake cave, catch a hibernating snake, dig out the snake gall, and break it open with strong wine to make snake gall wine for their brothers and sisters to drink. Xiaobei had complained many times that the snake gall wine tasted bad, bitter and astringent, but she never refused to drink it. The main reason was that drinking a little wine made her feel dizzy and comfortable. Just as Emoji was worried that some people in the tribe would lose control of their emotions and bring disaster to the entire Turkic Empire, the 3 days that Zhang Xiaobao had promised were finally up. In front of them was still an endless grassland covered by a layer of snow. At noon on the 3rd day, when the group was resting, a row of black dots suddenly appeared on the horizon. The Turks who were eating stood up one by one and looked over vigilantly. Moji quickly took out his clairvoyance and looked over. He saw that there were countless deer and dogs running in their direction. Behind the deer and dogs were a sled that was tilted up in front. In addition to the deer and dogs, there were also people with sails behind them. They were moving with the wind like snakes. There were also many people wearing white clothes and capes, stepping on 2 bamboo poles. They were moving forward with a pole in each hand. If the other party did not move and did not look carefully, they would not be discovered. This is the group that delivered goods to the supermarket in Fengzhou, right? Kei Tachin looked at Moji curiously and asked. Moji shook his head slightly. I don't think they're just here to deliver food. There's also an army here to suppress us. The ones in white. In order to maintain the same speed, the deer and the dog didn't use their full strength when running. As the distance between the two groups got closer and closer, even without the clairvoyance, they could see the situation on the other side clearly. The Turkic people who were ready to make a move finally became obedient. If it was said that they wanted to make Zhang Xiaobao and his group stay, now that the other party had arrived, there was no hope at all. When the Tang group was less than 100 steps away from the Tubo group, 1,000 people on skis came out and spread out in all directions, forming a semicircle formation to surround the Tubo group. Another dozen or so people directly rushed towards Zhang Xiaobao and the others. Every time their arms thrust into the snow, these dozen or so people would advance a long distance. Their speed was much slower than a galloping horse on the grassland, but it was also many times faster than a person traversing the snow. Reporting, Little Young Master, Little Miss. The snow war camp of Fengzhou is here to report. 1050 people are here, but 1049 people are here. One person sprained his ankle when he just set off. End of report. The dozen people came to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and the person in the middle stood out to report. Moji and his group were puzzled when they saw the appearance of these people, because they did not know what they looked like. They were wrapped up from head to toe, and even wore something for their eyes. They were probably afraid of the wind and had a problem of crying in the wind. Zhang Xiaobao knew that it was called goggles. It was specially made for the snow war camp to block the wind and not worry about snow blindness. When he heard the report, he took a step back and let Wang Wan in front. He said he would not care about the army, so he did. Wang Wan returned the salute and nodded. Very good. Take care of the one who sprained his ankle. Go back and strengthen the basic training. Come back to the team. The person answered. He did not stand at attention for Wang Wan. He was afraid that he would fall, so he used his ski poles to support himself, swung his legs, and turned around to slide back to the team. Another person stood up and said, Feng Province Logistics Camp reporting, 2,200 people are here, 2,200 people are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 6,000 snow deers are here, 1,000 snow deers are here, 6,000 snow deers are here, 4 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 snow deers are here. Very good. Come back to the team. Pay attention to the 4 injured sled dogs and keep them warm. Wang Wan returned the salute. She could imagine the situation of the 4 dogs. The dog in front must have passed by, and the ice suddenly broke, and the 4 dogs in the middle fell. According to the training, the people on the sled would break the sled. Then, the dogs in front would push forward, and the dogs behind would push backward. The dogs that fell would be tensed up and wait for people to go and save them. This was usually what well-trained polar sled dogs would do. She did not expect the people in Fengzhou to train them successfully. Fengzhou medical team reporting, 300 people reported, 300 confirmed. End of report. Feng Province's Engineering Battalion reporting. 600 people are here. 600 people are here. Report complete. Feng Province's Loss Management Team reporting. Should have 450 people, 450 people actually present. Report complete. Fengzhou Battle Command reporting. 60 people reported, 60 confirmed. End of report. Fengzhou Reconnaissance Camp reporting. Fengzhou Spy Camp reporting. Fengzhou Towing Artillery Camp reporting. One by one, people stood out to report to Wang Wan. Wang Wan also returned the salute one by one. Not far away, the leaders of the Turkic tribes were also listening. At this time, they realized that a single army could have so many branches, each in charge of their own things. It was not like the vanguard and the middle of a march. After the people in front finished reporting, there was only one short person left. A dwarf. The short one also skated to the front, but he didn't report to Wang Wan. Instead, he looked around and found Xiao Bei, who was at the back. He propped himself up with his ski poles a few times and approached Xiao Bei. With a childish voice he said, Fengzhou Children's Troop, reporting, there should be 100 people, but there are 86 people. 14 of them cried because of the cold, so the adults sent them back. Xiao Bei looked at the people from the children's regiment in surprise. His mouth was wide open and he blinked hard. After a while he reacted. Fengzhou also has a children's regiment. They actually cried because of the cold. So stupid. You're embarrassing me. You can even cry because of the cold wearing down. I didn't cry even when my face was red. Instead of studying in school, why are you here? Stupid, I can't study anymore. The little guy from the children's regiment replied weakly. Okay, then that's it. Return to the team. Pay attention to keeping warm. Don't cry because of the cold. If you fight, remember to shoot from afar. Don't rush forward. Choose the leader first, just like the one wearing this. Xiao Bei deliberately pointed at the leaders of the various Turkic tribes and introduced them to the leader of the Fengzhou Children's Regiment. Yes, remember. Choose the leader first. The leader looked at them seriously and agreed. He also supported himself with his hands, squatted down, and swung his legs at the same time. He wanted to learn how to turn like the others, but in the end he fell with a plop. He struggled to get up and left. Xiao Bei covered his face when he saw this. It was really embarrassing. Zhang Xiaobao was amused when he saw this. He said to Xiao Bei, Xiao Bei's children's regiment is still very brave. Don't mention it. I'll disband them later. Seeing so many pairs of eyes looking at him, he turned around and smiled shyly. Uncle's little Bei was just joking. I didn't ask them to really beat you guys up. I was just joking. They'll forget about it after a while. That's right, I was just joking. They're just kids after all. They can't beat adults, right? Xiao Bei's explanation was obviously not acceptable. The leaders of the various Turkic tribes were more worried about the people from the children's regiment. Children were not as steady as adults. If they made a slight move, they might be misunderstood. Usually, children would not be able to defeat adults, but children with guns were a different matter. Wang Wan watched from the side and did not stop them. She silently agreed to this matter. She understood that the threat Xiao Bei brought to others was greater. It was like handing a loaded gun to a monkey that was curious about everything. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao said to Emoji and the others, "The first batch of goods has arrived. Everyone make the necessary arrangements. The rest of the goods will arrive one after another. I hope that we can unite and fight against the cold environment together. I hope that everyone will do their best." Moji and the others agreed and dispersed to make arrangements. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao did not continue to watch over them. Everyone was here, and he was not afraid that they would cause trouble. Just as they had agreed at the start, The old and young were the priority when it came to the goods, especially the salt, tea, and medicine. The Turks did as they were told, not daring to express any of their thoughts. Everything was harmonious. Xiaobao, what about the 200,000 people who have surrendered? We can't leave them all in Feng province. There is not enough people there. Once they get a chance, there will be trouble. When the group moved again, Wang Wan began to worry about the personnel arrangements and asked Zhang Xiaobao. Arrange for them to be sent to Hunan province, Huainan province, Jiangnan province, and 5,000 to be sent to Jili province. We need to disperse them and not let them form an advantage. Arrange for people to explain the laws of the Tang Empire to them. They will be treated the same as the other people of the Tang Empire. There will be no preferential treatment. I don't need to be soft to them. Since they admit that they are part of the Tang Empire, don't give them special treatment. If they don't admit it, destroy them. As for the traditions of the Turks, they can be kept as long as they do not conflict with the laws of the Tang Empire. If there is a conflict, change them all. Zhang Xiaobao clearly knew that this arrangement would cost a lot of money and provisions, but he had to do it. Otherwise, it would be difficult to do it again in the future. The Yellow River has been frozen. We have to go by land. Let's inform them in advance. We also need to transfer more troops to deter them. I will arrange it. Wang Wan agreed with Zhang Xiaobao's idea and began to do it. When the Turks were no longer a threat, the lives of the people of Xinlua began to become difficult. County Magistrate Mu received benefits and began to write a letter to the imperial family of Xinlua with Li Dong. They also used the demolition fee given by Song Qian to carry out the demolition. It was now the end of the year and the new year had not passed yet. Most of the people were focused on the new year. When they heard that County Magistrate Mu was going to demolish, their first thought was that County Magistrate Mu did not intend to let them have a good new year. Those who did not want to be demolished before the new year and were more courageous joined forces with their neighbors and came to the county yamen to discuss with the county magistrate. They hoped that the county magistrate could make an exception and wait until after the new year. In the end, they did not see County Magistrate Mu. What they saw was a black-faced yamen runner. After a few words of dispute, they were beaten up. They could not find a place to reason and could only suppress their anger. County Magistrate Mu was not afraid of the people causing trouble. Those who dared to cause trouble were all arrested and sent to prison. At this moment he was secretly happy. Song Qian gave him the money according to the number of people in the household register. It was not calculated according to the size of each house. It was impossible to calculate. Other than the corresponding officials, no one registered the houses. Usually what was registered was the number of fields. There was no difference between building 10 houses and building one house. The price Song Qian gave was 500 copper coins per head. The money given was the Tang dynasty's banknotes. One could directly buy good things from the Tang dynasty. County Magistrate Mu's mind became active. He was prepared to divide the people in the county according to men and women, old and young. An adult man would be given 300 copper coins, an adult woman would be given 200 copper coins, an elderly person would be given 100 copper coins, and a child would be given 50 copper coins. Moreover, the money given was not the Tang dynasty's banknotes, but the Xinlua's banknotes. He kept the banknotes for himself. Part of it was used to spend, and the other part was used to give gifts to the people above. Under the threat of force, the people in the county had no choice but to pack up their belongings. They reluctantly left the house they had lived in for a long time and thought of ways to find a new place to settle down. County Magistrate Mu also urged people to hurry up. It would be best if they could complete the demolition work during the new year. At this moment, a piece of news from who knows where entered the ears of the people in the county. The Tang dynasty merchants gave each person 500 copper coins in banknotes, and did not require them to complete the relocation before the new year. This matter became more and more real and spread more and more. It did not take long for the people in the county to know. Looking at the money they received and comparing it with the money in the rumors, the people immediately knew that the money was embezzled by the people in the county. The bold people once again organized people to find the yamen. Wicked people, all wicked people. Beat them, catch them. Seeing more and more people gathering outside the yamen, County Magistrate Mu was a little worried, but more than that, he was angry. Orders were passed down one after another. Very soon, the yamen runners had work to do. They beat and caught, causing the county to be in chaos. The people did not fight with the officials. Under the deterrence of the powerful force and status, the people in the county became obedient. One by one, they began to restrain themselves. According to County Magistrate Mu's arrangements, they came to a new place to think of a way to rebuild their houses. The resentment in their hearts grew, but they could not do anything at the moment. Chapter 866. Song Qian brought many tents and gave them to the people of Niha County who had yet to build a house for the time being. He even personally led many people to deliver soybean oil and rice noodles from door to door. This family gave 20 kilograms, and that family gave a jar. He kept saying that the Tang Empire and Xinhua were like family. He also emphasized the fact that all of the demolition money had been handed over to County Magistrate Mu. He hoped that the people who did not receive the full amount would give County Magistrate Mu some time. County Magistrate Mu must be in a difficult position. He believed that as the official of the county, County Magistrate Mu would handle the corresponding matters as soon as possible. Song Qian went around and spent a few days returning to the restaurant between the clouds and the water to rest. County Magistrate Mu received many tents, but he was even more worried. The matter of the money had been exposed. It was better not to have tents now because there were not enough. It was only 1/10 of the amount of tents that people who did not have a house had. Song Qian gave it to him for free. He could not complain that he gave too little. If he left it in the yamen, it would be difficult to give it to anyone. The new year was approaching. On the 20th of the 12th lunar month, the conflict between the county magistrate and the people did not stop. The people came to ask questions, the yamen runners fought, and the people persuaded each other in the neighborhood to send the yamen runners to investigate. This was the cycle. County Magistrate Mu handed over a lot of the embezzled money, and the higher-ups did not pursue the matter. However, if they wanted to give the people the original amount, it was definitely not enough. When a heavy snow fell, County Magistrate Mu fell ill. The cold-hearted people took advantage of the ice to drag their families across the mud river to the Tang Empire. They were willing to do any kind of hard work. If they could stay, they would never go back. On the 23rd of the 12th lunar month, the new year was over. The capital was no exception. In the palace, Gao Lishir was not idle for a moment. He commanded a group of people to start sweeping the dust and carrying out the folk worship. Telegrams were frequently sent from all over the country. Those who had relatives outside and knew the exact location were willing to spend some money to report that they were safe. Perhaps it was because of the telegrams that it was convenient to transmit news. The local officials began to publicize the merits of the current emperor in the provincial capitals a long time ago. The lives of the common people were indeed much better than before, especially the newborns. The number of deaths was 10 times less than before. There was no longer a situation where 6 or 7 children were born, and the last one died. Hearing the summons from the prefectural government, the influential clans and local gentry took the lead and stamped their fingerprints on the 10,000 citizen forms and sent them to the capital. Looking at the distance and estimated the approximate time, those who arrived early or those who arrived early would wait and meet on the day of the new year to send them to Lilongji. According to what Wang Wan had told Zhang Xiaobao, Lilongji was someone who rejoiced in grandiose deeds, but he hadn't appeared yet. When Lilongji saw the mountain of 10,000 citizen forms, he was only happy, but he did not dare to relax. After learning how vast the sea was, he understood the insignificance of a lake. When he heard Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan say that the place could send a cannonball from Luzhou to the capital, he did not think that he had the ability to protect himself now. Moreover, Gao Lishir had deliberately placed the matter of the people of Sinro's Niha County on his desk. Li Longji was prepared to continue working hard. When the Great Tang's technology reached a level where it could find another powerful country and send a cannonball from the capital to the other country, he would think about it again. Summon Li Longji for me. Li Longji emerged from the pile of 10,000 citizen forms. He suddenly had an idea in his mind, and he ordered someone to look for Gao Lishur. A short while later, Gao Lishur, who was dressed in gray, hurried over. "Your Majesty, you've summoned me?" "Yes, you." Li Longji asked in surprise when he saw Gao Lishur's battered appearance. "Your Majesty, it's difficult to clear the ashes from the stove in the imperial kitchen, so I helped carry 2 baskets of ash." Zhang Xiaobao said in his letter that there will be gas, liquefied gas, and other things to replace firewood and coal in the future, but I don't know when I can see it. "Your Majesty, is there something urgent?" Gao Lishur did not dare to brush off the dust in front of the emperor, so he just stood a little further away from the emperor and spoke. Li Longji basically wanted to remind the Great Tang about the 10,000 citizen forms and the people of Sinro. However, when he heard Gao Lishur mention Zhang Xiaobao, he forgot about it for a moment. He glared and said angrily, "I want to punish Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan." The 2 of them did not do their duty as the solution emissary and ignored tens of millions of people, but ran to the Turks. "Where do they put the imperial court's law?" "Yes, Your Majesty is right. The telegram said that the 2 of them are near Feng province and will arrive in a few days. Should we summon the 2 of them back to the capital quickly and hold the Ministry of Justice, Censorate, and Marble accountable for the same case?" Gao Lishur followed the emperor's words and said, as if he would not give up until Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were arrested and brought to justice. This is not necessary, but it can't be avoided. I want to punish them with a year's salary. In addition, Zhang Xiaobai and the others, who did not cooperate with the security officer and secretly connived with Emissary Zhang and Emissary Wang, who were responsible for monitoring the situation, but did not report it and hid it from me in the capital. I hereby revoke their right to impeach from the censorate, and also punish them with a year's salary. Li Longji emphasized the words pay penalty, as if it was an extraordinary punishment to show off his authority. The palace maids and eunuchs around lowered their heads and did not say anything. Most of them were looking at their shoes, which were issued by Zhang Xiaobai and Wang Wan. There were hollow places in the shoes, which were studied by a doctor who knew acupuncture. There were all kinds of small protrusions. They often ran around the palace, so it was easier than before. It was said that the cost of a pair of shoes was 3,000 copper coins. They did not know how much the annual salary of Zhang Jiedu and the others were. Was it enough to change shoes for everyone in the palace? Gao Lishur's face was full of bitterness. Your Majesty, Xiao Bao and the others will be punished for 10 years. Last time, because of the assassination, they were punished for 3 years. Adding the previous punishment, it's exactly 10 years. They still have to be punished. If they are not punished, it will not be enough to correct the law. If they are not punished, it will not be enough to appease the resentment of the people. If they are not punished, they will not dare to play tricks with me next time. Li Longji did not show any mercy and made the decision. Gao Lishur put on a good show to show that the emperor's justice was not to be trifled with. Then, he bypassed the matter of deducting wages and bonuses and said, Your Majesty, if County Magistrate Zhang Xiaobai of Jianan County knows that you have revoked her right to impeach from the censorate, she will make a scene. Make a scene. How can I compromise because of her dereliction of duty and revoking her position? Today I am looking for you for another matter. Now our country is at peace. Tens of thousands of countries have come to congratulate us. The people are happy and virtuous. However, in our great Tang, there will always be officials with selfish motives. We must guard against them. We must not be like the people of Niha County in Xinlua. Therefore, I want to establish a new position to supervise the officials of our Tang. If an official is found to be deceiving the people, I will strictly investigate and punish him severely. Even the relatives of the imperial family will not be spared. I will patrol the territory of the Tang and investigate the faults of all officials. The military and political affairs will not be stopped. Those who are investigated, if they are not detailed, can be convicted on the spot. Li Longji then talked about the first thing he wanted to discuss with Gao Lisher. Gao Lisher kept nodding his head. When the emperor finished speaking, he asked worriedly, "Your Majesty, you want to set up a new department to patrol everywhere in the Tang Empire. Moreover, all the officials will be investigated and can be temporarily convicted. Then who will be chosen?" "Yes, that's what I was thinking. Naturally, there will be a lot of people. Just like the previous investigation of the bridge and paving of roads, there will be several rounds of inspection. If the people in front of you can't find anything wrong, and the people who came later find out, then the people in front of you will also be punished. I plan to send at least 3 rounds of inspection to each place. At that time, if the people want to spend money to bribe them, it will be a big crime. However, I am worried that even if we investigate 3 or 5 times in a row, some places will still have enough money and methods to bribe all the people patrolling. Coupled with the relationship between the imperial family and other clans, many people will not dare to investigate further. Therefore, I let Xiao Bei and the others be the head of this matter. I don't believe that there will be people who have enough money to bribe them, and I don't need to worry that they will be afraid of the imperial family and other clans. There are restaurants and shops all over the Tang Empire. I think that their intelligence work will be better than mine, the emperor. With them in charge, I want to see who will dare to not do their best." Li Longji thought that he had solved a very difficult problem. He was so happy that he didn't call himself Your Majesty. When he thought of the helplessness of the people being investigated and prepared to bribe Xiao Bei and the others, he felt that it was funny. "Ha ha ha, what do you think?" Li Longji finally couldn't hold back. After laughing for a while, he asked Gao Lisher. Gao Lisher understood. No wonder Xiao Bei's position had been removed so quickly. It turned out that he had an even bigger position to give to Xiao Bei and the others. Of course, he also didn't believe that the emperor really wanted Xiao Bei to manage this matter. In the end, it would fall into the hands of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. It was just that it wasn't good to directly give Jiedu so much power, so he made an exception. "Your Majesty's words are extremely correct. This subject can guarantee that Xiao Bei and the others will not be successfully bribed, and no one can afford to bribe them. However, this matter is of great importance and needs to be discussed in the imperial court after the new year. This subject is afraid that it will not pass. Whoever opposes this matter has a guilty conscience. We will investigate this matter first. Go send a letter to Xiao Bao and the others. Tell them to pay attention to their safety. If someone has an unstable mind, then kill them." Li Longji waved his hand, indicating that Gao Lisher should go and deliver the message. He himself continued to admire the Wan Min Biao. Before the news from the capital could reach them, Zhang Xiaobao had already arrived in Feng Province. In the past, the inner city of Feng Province had a relatively tall earthen wall used to block Turkic attacks. Now, Feng Province didn't have any walls and was unimpeded. The people of Feng Province felt more stable than before. With the Zhang family and the Wang family overseeing the city, they didn't have to worry about being suddenly attacked by enemies. This was especially true with the cannons that had just been shipped in this year. With them, they didn't even have nightmares at night. The vast and mighty Turkic people had come to Feng Province. Seeing the current situation of Feng Province, it was impossible to say that they didn't have any other thoughts. However, no one dared to make a move. Just when they thought that they could live in Feng Province in the future, after only one night of rest, the group set out again the next day. Mo Jilian also didn't expect this. He found Zhang Xiaobao and asked, "Zhang Xiaobao, where are you taking us? Aren't we staying in Feng Province?" "Staying in Feng Province so that you can rebel at any time. Let's go. This year I'll spend the new year with you outside. I'll arrange a good place for all of you. For example, the leaders of your tribes will become officials in the capital. As for the rest of you, spread out and settle in the prosperous areas of the Great Tang. My Jili province will also take a portion." Zhang Xiaobao didn't hide his wariness toward the Turks and spoke the truth. Mojilian couldn't refute this. If it were him, he also wouldn't have left them in Feng province. He worriedly asked, "Then can you guarantee that they will all have good lives?" "I can guarantee that they will all be treated equally. As long as they work hard, they will be treated like the other people of the Great Tang. Early on, someone will tell them what to do and what not to do. Someone will also teach them how to farm. If they can't learn in the first 2 years and their families can't live well, they will be given subsidies. Then will they be treated like the people of the Great Tang? There is no distinction between you and me. Those who enter my Great Tang are all subjects of the Great Tang." "Can the children go to school and take the imperial examinations?" "Yes." "If there is a disaster, will there be a reduction in taxes?" "Not only will there be a reduction, but if the disaster is serious, there will also be food and money. Some people are bullied when they go to other small countries to do business, but there are also people who will fight for them for thousands of li. Let alone thousands of li, even thousands of li. There will be people responsible for taking back their dignity. Then what are you aiming for?" "Aiming for the stability of the Turks in the future, to carry out strategic deployments so that we can continue to expand and plunder more good things from farther places. We will work for the peace of the world." Mojilian had nothing to ask this time, but he still couldn't understand how attacking and plundering other people had anything to do with peace. At this time, the Yellow River was sealed in ice, and there was no war, so it was naturally impossible to spend a large amount of money to buy cannonballs to blow up the river. Thus, Zhang Xiaobao divided the Turks into small groups. Some walked on the ice, some walked on the banks, and some were escorted toward the capital. Chapter 867. On the second day of the second month, the dragon raised its head. Mojilian's group took a detour to Sanshui County from the beginning of the year. They were worried about their own people, worried about the future, and in the process of learning more about the Tang Empire, they finally arrived at Sanshui County. There were not many people in the group. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left behind 100 guards. Xiao Bei and the others also followed with 50 guards. Then there were the leaders or important figures of the Turkic tribes like Mojilian. In total, there were about 70 people. As for their families, there were other arrangements. Because the Yellow River had just opened up, the surging water was filled with countless ice cubes. Therefore, no boats could be seen on the river, and no one continued to walk on the ice. This year, the several section was not like usual. The people were afraid that the ice was too thick and would drown. They happily prepared for spring plowing. This was because an artillery battalion had been pulled over before the beginning of spring, ready to explode the ice at any time. Mojilian and the others naturally could not see what had happened on the road they had already walked on. All they could see was the lively scene in Sanshui County. As soon as he entered the territory of Sanshui County, Keitachin was infected by the enthusiasm of the people. The sound of firecrackers, gongs, and drums shook the sky. Flags fluttered and ribbons fluttered. A big dragon held up by people meandered in the direction of the county. It's a good time. The second day of the second month, the dragon dance. As the local master, Zhang Xiaobao's face was also brimming with a happy smile. He introduced to Keitachin and the others. Mojilian watched the bustle and said regretfully, "I thought that Zhang Xiaobao had told us in advance to welcome us." Zhang Xiaobao smiled and did not reply. When they came, they were disguised as merchants and did not raise a flag to symbolize their identity. That was why the people of Sanshui County did not personally welcome them. This was the rule of Sanshui County. When foreign merchants came and wanted to do business, they could only enjoy the same treatment as the local merchants of Sanshui County. Perhaps thinking of this, Moji sighed and said, "This trip, I have seen Zhang Xiaobao's ability to do business. Those who know will understand that you want to play along, but those who don't will think that you are so poor that you can't even pay for the reception. After deducting the expenses, you have earned about 20,000 coins, right?" Thank you. I made a small profit," Zhang Xiaobao said modestly and continued to move forward. Moji was a few steps behind. He glanced at the silent Secret Service officer K and asked, "Left Virtuous Prince, how is it?" Secret Service officer K squeezed out a smile and said, "I admire you. We have more than 200 people. Starting from Fengzhou, Zhang Xiaobao spent 10,000 coins to buy a lot of dry food and other goods. At that time we thought that he wanted to bring back to the capital. Who knew that he was doing business along the way, selling what he bought and paying for our accommodation and meals. In the end, when we arrived here, he actually made 20,000 coins. Doesn't look like much, just 20 coins. But the food and accommodation along the way, even if they deliberately avoided between the clouds and the water and blue sea silver sand, the place they arrived at was not bad. I estimate that it would not be enough for less than 300,000 coins. Also, he saw 2 carts of brocades shipped from Sichuan on the way and bought them. If we had people like him, we would not be in this situation today. No wonder the Tang Emperor Li Longji values him so much. In fact, he doesn't have to show off to us like this. He's not showing off to us. He's teaching his little sister how to do business. When those little guys grow up, they'll be extraordinary too. Our clan will be gone from now on. Moji couldn't help but show a pained expression when he thought of his clan being scattered to different places. As they walked forward, there were more people on the road. Some people who didn't want to join in the fun had already brought their tools to the fields to prepare for the spring plowing. Zhang Xiaobao's team slowed down and looked at the fields on both sides. Occasionally, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would stop and ask a person resting on a ridge. After traveling for a few li, a few cars appeared by the side of the road ahead. There were also many people stopping in the fields. Zhang Xiaobao had the team stop as well. He leaned to the side and took out his clairvoyance to observe the people there. He saw an old man arguing with a middle-aged man. He looked very angry. Then he walked to the side of the road. The middle-aged man lowered his head and followed behind. He seemed to be explaining something. "Are they fighting?" Moji asked Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. "There may be a problem with the spring plowing plan. May need to be replanned. I hope it won't delay the plowing time." "How do you know?" Moji was puzzled. "You will know later." Zhang Xiaobao walked forward. It didn't take long before the old man came to the ridge by the roadside and sat on the ground angrily. The middle-aged man who followed him quickly took off his coat and asked the old man to stand up and spread the coat on the ground. Then he stood to the side and explained, "Uncle Wang, the land here is fertile. If we plant beans, there will definitely be a lot of yield. That's why when the county was first planned, this area was planned as a soybean field. Please calm down. I'll immediately find someone to discuss and see if we can think of a way to satisfy both sides. Is that okay?" The old man obviously didn't buy it, but his expression softened. He said to the middle-aged man earnestly, "Second boy, since you said so, do it quickly. You are the county magistrate. Why don't you know how to look at the big picture? Do you think I don't know that the yield of beans in the fertile land is high? But if we plant beans, this land is close to the river. Do you still need water? If we do, all the beans will be washed away. If we don't, where will we get water for the rice fields? In the winter, when we collect manure as fertilizer, you are so careless. Look at the people you asked to add so much lime. If someone didn't see it, you would have burned all the land. It's not that I want to criticize you, but we all know that you want to achieve something. But it depends on the actual situation. You have to come up with a solution within 2 days, or you can't be the county magistrate anymore. Do you hear me?" "Uncle Wang, you're right. I'll get someone to replan the land and find a suitable place to plant beans. But this year, all the land in the county has been allocated. I'm afraid we won't be able to make it in time. I'm so worried. Why don't we allocate some land on the mountain behind the first house in Linshui? I see a lot of empty land. We can allocate some land there and then the square beside the dock. Let's." The middle-aged man tried his best to explain. Before he finished, he was interrupted by the old man again. "No one can touch the mountain behind the first house by the river. Are you waiting for someone to steal the things you planted at the square of the wharf? The people in the county won't touch it. There are so many people coming and going. Are you waiting to catch someone to show off your achievements? That mountain is useless. People who go to the mountain will see the beans. Won't it be another scenery? The middle-aged man continued to argue. Nonsense. That mountain was bought by Zhongjia Zhuangzi. At that time, the Zhang family became famous there. Then the people in the county lived a good life. If you change that place, do you want to change the feng shui of the county? Then hand in the seal today. We don't need you to be the county magistrate. Wrong, Uncle Wang. I know I am wrong. I won't do anything to that place. Can you help me think of a suitable place to plant beans? The middle-aged man's waist was almost touching the ground as he begged. Emoji and the others understood this time. The middle-aged man standing was the county magistrate of Sanshui County. The angry man sitting in the middle-aged man's clothes was a farmer in Sanshui County. The county magistrate was scolded because he made a mistake in his decision. Zhang Xiaobao, the county magistrate of Sanshui County, doesn't have any authority. Is he scolding like a grandson? Emoji felt sorry for the county magistrate. He was an official, but he didn't have any temper. Before Zhang Xiaobao could speak, Xiaobei sneered. What authority? He should admit his mistakes. Sanshui County doesn't need to be so thick-skinned. An official who knows what he did wrong and continues to quibble is not a fool. No matter how much he quibbles, everyone knows the truth. What if he quibbles? Moji asked Xiaobei deliberately. He was also a little confused by Xiaobei's cute appearance. Xiaobei stared at him and said even more cutely, quibbling and escaping will result in dismissal. Any official who is dismissed from Sanshui County can forget about being an official in Tang. Am I right? Look at me, I'm talking to you too. Xiaobei's voice was loud and the middle-aged man heard it. When he looked over, Xiaobei saw him and questioned him. Yes, admit your mistakes. I am not thick-skinned. The middle-aged man nodded. At this time, the old man also turned his head and looked at Xiaobei. He felt that Xiaobei didn't look like a local, so he said unhappily, Little kid, who are you? You don't need to talk about my Sanshui County's officials. County Magistrate Liu, don't worry about outsiders. I will find someone to discuss this matter. County Magistrate Liu, don't think too much. You have to do what you have to do. Who doesn't make a mistake in their life? This time, not only was Emoji surprised, but the other Tibetans were also curious. What kind of place was Sanshui County? The farmer had reprimanded a county magistrate as if he was his grandson, but in the blink of an eye, he was defending him. It was really confusing. Xiaobei didn't get angry. He turned his head and said to Emoji, See, this is Sanshui County. Family matters are solved by family members and outsiders are not allowed to interfere. Old grandpa, I am also from Sanshui County. Do you want me to think of a good idea for you? Little kid, who are you? Why are you with a group of outsiders? The old man stood up and shook the clothes that he was sitting on. He put them back on the middle-aged man and asked Xiaobei. Xiaobei smiled and showed 2 dimples. How am I an outsider? They will be one of us in the future. My brother and sister will bring them back and they will become citizens of Tang. Who am I? I am the cutest and smartest little princess of Zhongjia Zhuangzi in Tuqiao village of Sanshui County, Zhang Xiaobei. This is the stupidest Wang Xiaoyuan. Do you see? Don't mention me. You can't elevate yourself by belittling me. Who are you? Just now you said you would think of a way. Think of a way. Xiaoyuan, who had been silent, was not satisfied. When the old man heard Xiaobei's self-introduction, he was suddenly shocked. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan who were standing behind Xiaobei. His eyes opened wider and wider. He looked carefully and asked tentatively, Xiaobao, cuckoo? Hello, Grandpa Wang. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saluted at the same time. Oh, it really is our cutest little princess, Xiaobei. Come and let Grandpa give you a hug. I have heard of such a person, but I have never seen her before. I was wondering which family's daughter could be so beautiful like a flower. So it is our Xiao Bei. For a moment, the old man forgot about farming. His stern face turned into a flower as he picked up the already heavy Xiao Bei. He was extremely happy. The county magistrate next to him was nervous and did not know what to do. He wanted to go up and greet them, but he did not dare. He wanted to pretend that nothing had happened, but he did not dare. Not to mention Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's ranks. Even if they were not officials, the whole county magistrate would tremble when they stamped their feet in Sanshui County. That. For a moment, the county magistrate did not know how to express himself. He rubbed his hands anxiously but could not say a complete sentence. You are County Magistrate Lu, right? Zhang Xiaobao turned to the county magistrate and asked. Yes, it is this official, Lord Zhang. Please give me your orders. Just now. This year. County Magistrate Lu did not know what to say. He knew that if they really wanted to remove him from his position, these two legendary figures in front of him did not have to do it personally. As long as Xiao Bei, who was being picked up, said something, not to mention a county magistrate, even a provincial governor would have to be removed. The people of Sanshui County were very active in collecting information on Zhang Wang's family. As long as there was something going on, they would know. At this time, the old man helped to speak up. Xiao Bao, Cuckoo, and our cutest Xiao Bei. County Magistrate Lu is not bad. When he was a registrar, he did well in accounting. Last year, when he became a county magistrate, he ran around all day. Can be said that he has done his best. Grandpa Wang, I did not say that I would do anything to him. He planted beans in the field last year. Can he continue to plant beans this year? Is that right, County Magistrate Lu? Zhang Xiaobao naturally could not remove him from his position just because he made a mistake. Since he was an official approved by the people of Sanshui County, he would not be bad. The people's hearts were not so easily bullied. County Magistrate Lu nodded vigorously. Yes, during the planning, we planted beans in the field last year. This year we will plant rice. Because we need to clear the silt in the river, after the rice is harvested, we will directly pluck the fields. The soil will be more fertile. But during the planning we forgot. What should we do? What should we do? We can only mend the pen after the sheep is lost. This year we will not plant beans in Sanshui County. Send people to Fengzhou to get seeds. This year we will plant pasture in the barren lands of Sanshui County. You organize people to go there and buy cattle and sheep, especially those that need to give birth. During the summer, we will make milk products and send them to the Bohai Commander-in-Chief's office to sell. Since Zhang Xiaobao had encountered this, he could not ignore it. County Magistrate Lu knew what was called secret farming. It was like the poppies that were planted in the past. When they were planted, they would be sent to the Dei Medical School. Chapter 868. It's still okay in the county this year. In winter, every village has a boiler room and every family uses heating. Some villages with a small population have moved out and built big houses outside. In winter, the off-season vegetables are not selling as well as before. The main reason is that there are more and more people who know how to grow vegetables. The biggest taxpayer is still at the docks. The river channel has been expanded to both sides. They also specially found shrimp and fish to raise in the river channel. Every once in a while they will get stuck in the net. Before the new year, 2 pavilions collapsed due to heavy snow. The people in charge of maintenance have been arrested. Fortunately, they were not crushed to death. This matter is not tolerated. Due to the inconvenience of the road, the children in the school drank soy milk continuously for 45 days and only returned to fresh milk 2 days ago. The roast chicken and duck sold in Zhuangzi have become the specialty of the county. Last year we paid a lot of taxes. Last year's snow was heavy. This year's development will probably be affected. I'm worried that the turn of the river channel will be washed ashore. Decent people have reinforced it. The poultry farm has done a good job of blocking and preventing diseases. There are more than 450,000 chickens and ducks. County Magistrate Lu followed beside Zhang Xiaobao and reported the county's work to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao occasionally asked a few questions. Every time he asked, County Magistrate Lu would answer smoothly. The group of people who came with the Tujue listened and were surprised and envious. Secret Service K had heard Mo Jillian's introduction of Sanshui County. At that time it was almost unbelievable. How could a county's development be comparable to a province's? Now that he heard and saw it, he knew that Mo Jillian had said too little. He was even more envious of County Magistrate Lu's detailed introduction of the data. If there was such a capable person in his tribe, why would he be blocked by the great Tang dynasty a few years ago? Zhang Xiaobao was satisfied. He also praised County Magistrate Lu. It was considered that he approved of his position as county magistrate. Otherwise, he would have taken him down immediately. Xiao Bei had also been a county magistrate and was in the same line as County Magistrate Lu. He nodded and said, County Magistrate Lu, you have worked hard. You are better than me when I was in Jian and County. You flatter me, you flatter me. It was all supported by the people in the county. As long as the county made a decision that was beneficial to the county, a small portion of the people would be willing to suffer losses to support it. For example, last autumn, when there was a shortage of medicinal herbs, they were going to choose a fertile land to plant herbs in. At that time they chose Two Rivers Beach Village. There used to be 2 rivers flowing through the village, so the soil was strong. When the idea came out, the entire village of 115 households, 720 people, no one complained. Within 3 days, the entire village moved. Without their efforts, there would not be Sanshui County today. County Magistrate Lu hurriedly spoke modestly. Although Xiao Bei was young, he did not dare to belittle him. How's the water transportation? Zhang Xiaobao asked casually. It's about the same as before, but fewer boxed meals are being sold on both sides of the river. Ever since the introduction of canned food, many foreigners don't like to eat boxed meals from our county and bring their own canned food. This year, I plan to hire some chefs from other places and expand the service station so that everyone can find their favorite dishes. County Magistrate Lu answered without any hesitation. What about salt and oil? Zhang Xiaobao was not surprised that County Magistrate Lu was familiar with the affairs of the county like Mo Jillian and others. For him it was normal to know these things. It would be abnormal if he did not know. To be able to be the county magistrate of Sanshui County, he must have the ability. He then asked about the necessities of life. The price of salt has decreased slightly, mainly because there are more places to dry salt. The manufacturing of ships is also more advanced. The profit of selling salt has not changed. The quantity has increased by 20%, so the price has decreased by 20%. As for oil, the price of soybean oil and rapeseed oil has increased slightly. One is that there are more livestock, so there is more lard, so the locals like to eat lard more. The other is that the people south of the Yellow River like to eat vegetable oil. Most of it is shipped and sold there, so the taxes have increased. It's better to eat vegetable oil as much as possible. I will write a notice later, saying that eating too much lard is not good for health. No, I will say that lard can be made into wax. Keep more of it and try to sell it to the areas where there is less lard to lower the price of vegetable oil. Zhang Xiaobao was afraid that more people would get cardiovascular disease if they ate too much lard. He wanted to mention it in the county, but he was afraid that because of his words, there would be more market for vegetable oil and the price would be pushed to a higher position. Therefore, he could only take a roundabout way. County Magistrate Lu nodded repeatedly. Okay, I will remember it. I will talk about it later. After the beginning of spring, the price of garlic has increased a lot. Has doubled the usual price. Should we find a good place to plant more garlic? Garlic has increased. How did it increase? Did it increase all at once or little by little? At this time Wang Wan, who had been silent at the side, suddenly asked. Zhang Xiaobao also wanted to know. He knew that people at this time liked to eat garlic. Many people asked if there was any garlic when they went to a restaurant. If there was, they would go in and eat without turning around. It was said that garlic and meat were delicious when chewed together. He didn't think so. He only knew that it tasted good when eaten with sausages. County Magistrate Lu thought for a while and replied, "It has increased twice. The first time was just after the New Year and the price increased by 30%. The second time was a few days ago and the price suddenly increased by 2 times. It is said that the places where garlic is produced were bought by big businessmen. It is estimated that the price will increase again. The people in Sanshui County are more prudent and there is no panic buying. I heard that the price of garlic in other places is higher. As long as there is garlic, it will be sold out immediately. I don't know what happened. I always feel that someone is doing it deliberately, but I can't think of a way." Zhang Xiaobao nodded and said, "County Magistrate Lu, go do your work. We will walk and watch. We won't disturb you." County Magistrate Lu acted like he was pardoned and obediently stepped aside. When Zhang Xiaobao and the others walked away, he raised his sleeve to wipe the sweat on his forehead and said to the yamen runner beside him, "I was scared to death. Fortunately, I didn't relax. The young master of the Zhang family is really amazing. He can even find a lot of errors in the data. If we randomly check the data, he will definitely find the problem. It will feel like he has never left the county." The yamen runners also looked admiring. Song Yang, who was still a yamen runner and became the new arrestor, said with a smile, "Sir, young Master Zhang is certainly not ordinary. You should know that when Sanshui County was changed from Zhongxian to Shangxian, many people said that it was young Master Zhang who promoted it. At that time, there was no master from his family. Sanshui County is the foundation of his family. How could he not do his best? People say that he is a little immortal." Wang Wan didn't know that people were talking about her and Zhang Xiaobao behind their backs. At this time, she lowered her head and thought about something. She didn't wake up until the road in front of her suddenly widened and she heard the sound of running water. She found that they had reached a small river. She asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Did someone deliberately increase the price of garlic?" "Probably." Zhang Xiaobao replied. "Then what should we do? This kind of thing is the most terrible thing to encounter. In the end, even if there is a way, the real leader will run away. Only those who follow the hype will be unlucky. At that time, the garlic will have changed hands at least 3 times. Should we issue an order to arrest all those who hoard garlic?" Wang Wan thought of herself. From 100 years ago until she and Zhang Xiaobao came, she didn't have a good way to deal with this kind of thing. She was worried. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. "Why should we arrest people? Garlic isn't a necessity in life, unlike grains, oil and salt. I know that you remember the past. At that time, you knew that the real big fish were all the elders in the capital who were officials or were officials in the past. Not to mention cooking garlic, even if they were cooking something more important, who could do anything to them? Let's not talk about the past. Let's talk about the present. There are many people who like to eat garlic. How can it not be a necessity? Today they are cooking garlic. If you don't stop them, they will cook something else tomorrow. Even if they decide to deal with it in the end, many people will suffer losses. This won't do. I will write a letter to the capital and tell Li Longji." Wang Wan was very anxious. She knew that this wasn't just a problem with the price of garlic. If it wasn't handled well, the people's trust in the imperial court would decrease. As she spoke, she wanted to enter the carriage to write a letter. Zhang Xiaobao reached out and stopped her, saying, "Do you really want to use administrative orders to solve the economic problem? Didn't I say before that we shouldn't do this unless we have no other choice? Administrative orders are useful, but there are also many drawbacks. It will make the other party feel that the imperial court is incompetent and continue to find loopholes to attack. Although political economy is a combined study, it can't be used like this. If buying garlic is hoarding, then what about buying ginger? Buying onions? Buying cloth? How do you locate it? Aren't you afraid that the local officials will take the opportunity to do as you wish? Me tell you this. If I were a merchant and you gave the order to crack down on garlic hoarding, I would immediately change it to something else. If you directly said to crack down on hoarding, then the local officials might be arrested by the merchants. Merchants will definitely have stock in their inventory when they do business. Does that count as hoarding? Then what about the negotiation? Get them together to discuss it. Scare them and give them benefits so that they won't be so greedy. Wang Wan thought of another method. They want to earn 1,000,000 strings of cash. After you negotiate with them, even if you scare them, they will earn less. They won't say anything and will endure it. When the garlic is harvested next year, they won't accept it and will try their best to lower the price. Every industry has its own rules. Who would dare to casually accept it? What will happen to the people who grow the garlic? This kind of thing will backfire. Then won't you negotiate with them again? Don't you find it embarrassing? If they ask you, what do you mean? If you can't sell it at a high price or low price, wouldn't it be better to send officials to do business? Your imperial court will set whatever price you want. What do you think the consequences will be? Zhang Xiaobao analyzed the situation for Wang Wan and asked. Wang Wan held back her anger and thought, it will become a purely planned economy. When the time comes, the farmers will lose their motivation and there will be problems with business. After all, people who are good at business usually don't become officials. Those who can become officials will need to spend more energy on officialdom, and that will make it even more chaotic. Just like if we didn't come, there would be a salt tax in the Tang dynasty, causing the price of salt to rise. What should we do then? Why don't we use our family's business to cooperate with them? Economic problems are best solved by economic means. Cooperate with them. Negotiate. Did I give them face? Isn't it just the price of garlic? I'll let them rise and lose money. Later, investigate who is the leader. I'll make it difficult for them to do anything in the future. Zhang Xiaobao scoffed at this kind of compromise and said contemptuously. Wang Wan smiled and hugged Zhang Xiaobao's arm. I knew that Xiaobao would have a way. You have thought of a way to deal with the situation that just happened. Quick, tell me what to do. There's no hurry. Let's go to the county and rest first. We won't let them have an easy time. Let's confirm it first. If the situation is not like what we said, the method we came up with will be useless. How can it not be? There's no news of a big disaster in the garlic area. The price suddenly changed so much. It's strange if it's not strange. Are we going to buy garlic from other places and sell it here? We can't buy garlic from anywhere. As long as we buy it, that place will definitely raise the price. Don't you think it's better to steam eggplant and eat it with sauce than to fry it directly? Each has its own taste. What does it have to do with eggplant? It doesn't matter. I'm going to steam eggplant today. When there are more potatoes in the future, we'll steam them and eat them together. Just thinking about it makes me drool. What's the plan? We'll talk about it when we get back. Zhang Xiaobao and the others strolled toward the county of Sanshui County. They walked until night time, but they did not reach the county. They just arrived at the river that connected to the capital. As the people of Sanshui County were rich, they lived in two-story houses. Their demand for other things was also high. Countless street lamps were erected on both sides of the river. In the entire Great Tang, apart from Luzhou and the capital, only Sanshui County had the ability to do so. The lights of the street lamps were not very stable. They flickered. If the hydroelectric generator beside the river turned fast, the street lamps would light up. If it turned slow, the street lamps would naturally dim. Even so, Secret Service K and the others were shocked. They looked at the caravans walking on the river under the street lamps in the dark night. Some people who could not sleep came over with shrimp cages to fish for shrimp. The more than 70 people thought that they were no longer in the mortal world. These are the street lamps I saw in the capital. Mo Jilian's gaze followed the river. After being mesmerized by the gorgeous colors on both sides of the river, He introduced them to Secret Service K, who was also in a daze. I wonder if my tribe has the same thing. With the light, I think the wolves don't dare to easily attack the sheep pen at night, right? Secret Service K was envious. At the same time, he knew the difference between his tribe and the people of Great Tang. In his tribe, it was more extravagant to light candles. When they used oil lamps, the people of Great Tang had electric lamps. How comfortable would it be to go out for a stroll in the summer when you couldn't sleep at night? Yes, it was just like what was happening in the pavilion not far away. Chapter 869. Zhang Jiuling, who had been promoted to Assistant Minister of the Ministry of Revenue, was leisurely sitting in front of his desk. He held a glass of warm orange juice in his hands. It was said that the Beibei Juicing Group was worried that the spring would lack nutrients, so it was specially provided by the central government. The Beibei Juicing Group was located in a 40-square-meter room on the corner of the third floor of the Savant's restaurant. Zhang Jiuling's mind was not on the juice. A memorial had just been sent to him. It was about the recent price increase of a certain commodity. The price of garlic in Hunan province had skyrocketed, and the person in charge of the investigation had sent a report that was uncertain of the extent of the damage. In the past, the Ministry of Revenue had rarely paid attention to the changes in the price of these goods. However, starting from 5 years ago, people began to pay attention to it. Once the new assistant minister took office, Zhang Jiuling, he began to strengthen the collection of information in this area. Li Longji was also very supportive of Zhang Xiaobao's decision. After witnessing Zhang Xiaobao's terrifying methods, he was afraid that someone would learn from him. Hunan Province Wind Logistics Group. The name is Wind. How can logistics affect the price of garlic? Aren't they in charge of transportation? Zhang Jiuling could not think of how a logistics company could affect a certain commodity. He read the contents again. A name made his heart tighten. Wind Bridge Shoji. Japanese. Wind Logistics is Japanese. Little Japan is indeed up to no good. This won't do. I have to send it to Her Majesty quickly. When Zhang Jiuling saw the name of the Japanese, he did not think that it was normal price changes. He raised his head and drank the juice in his glass. His stomach felt warm. He organized the memorial and hurriedly walked to a nearby room. As soon as he entered the room, Zhang Jiuling reported to an old man who was half lying on a chair with a worried expression. "Old minister, it's not good. Someone is going to make a move on Tang's garlic." Old minister was referring to Wang Bei. He was in his 70s and his body was still healthy. Every 10 years, there would be a professional medical staff to check on him. He did not care about the trivial matters. Only when something serious happened would he be called. At this time, he was reading a book written by Zhang Xiaobao. Deliberately leaving financial management loopholes is a temptation for financial personnel. He rocked his chair and savored it carefully. He felt that it was very reasonable, especially the sentence, "Those who are in a financial management environment with opportunities for corruption for a long time will easily grow old." Suddenly hearing Zhang Jiuling's voice, the old minister was startled. He turned his head and looked at Zhang Jiuling. His eyes were full of doubts. Attack the garlic. How to use magic? Could it be that he had to beat up the garlic? Beat the garlic cloves into a paste. Are there dumplings for lunch today? My old minister, don't think about eating anymore. The price of garlic has increased abnormally. Has already doubled. Hurry up and think of a way. We can't let it continue to increase. Otherwise, we won't be able to find garlic to eat dumplings. In Zhang Jiuling's eyes, Wang Bei was no longer steady but slow. Wang Bei's squinted eyes suddenly opened, and his face became serious. He nodded and said, "Yes, there must be a reason for the price fluctuation of any product. If we lead it to good, it will be a blessing for the people. If we lead it to evil, it will be a disaster for the people. We must investigate. Let me take a look." Zhang Jiuling hurriedly passed the memorial to Wang Bei. Wang Bei carefully looked at it. When he read from beginning to end, he suddenly said, "Oh, wind logistics, the problem lies with them. What are you waiting for? Arrest him. Arrest Feng Qiao Shoji and ask him what his intentions are." Arrest. Old minister, why should we arrest him? Zhang Jiuling did not expect Wang Bei to arrest him immediately. Why? Just because you suspect that he is disrupting the price. Wang Bei replied. Zhang Jiuling shook his head. Old minister, that won't do. If we arrest him without evidence, won't the merchants be disappointed? Can't our great Tang tolerate a Japanese merchant? Can't the price of all goods be increased in the future? That's not the case. Hurry up and find evidence. Wang Bei also thought of this problem. Once we find the evidence, won't the price of garlic increase by 10 times? The people who should be lost have already been lost. Even if we kill him, it's useless. We can't take the money he earned and ask each and every one of them who bought garlic, right? Zhang Jiuling did not care if they could arrest Feng Qiao Shoji or not. He was thinking about how many people would be lost from the beginning to the end. Wang Bei thought for a while and said, "Yes, arresting him is not the goal. Once the matter is out of control, even if we arrest him and settle the matter, it will only mean that we have failed in our duties. A good fighter will not have outstanding achievements. We have to eliminate the threat before it sprouts. We don't want to wait until many people are lost before we stand out to settle the matter. We don't want that kind of credit. What we want is to make people unable to see the credit. It is like an abyss, calm and not majestic." Old minister, that's what I mean. I don't want to wait until the matter is out of control and then suppress the credit. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan will despise me, Zhang Jiuling said excitedly. He remembered what Zhang Xiaobao had done in Jili province. There were many people who wanted to take advantage of Jilin province, but they didn't have to wait for the real action. Zhang Xiaobao easily controlled the other party. When he was scheming against people, it was not obvious. It was not as obvious as when other officials put out a riot in a place. But if you think about it carefully, you will find that the whole northern Hebei province was very reassuring. They felt that as long as Zhang Xiaobao and Li Shiqiang were there, nothing would happen. This was the real way to rule a country. While Zhang Jiuling was thinking about things, Wang Bei had already dressed up. He drank a big mouthful of tea and pulled Zhang Jiuling out of the room. This is an important matter to discuss with His Majesty. If they succeed this time, they will do it again. Do they think that there is no one in Tang? In Xingqing Palace, Li Longji, Empress Wang, and Wu Huifei were enjoying the flowers together. They were all wild flowers dug from the mountains. Few of them were blooming. Most of them only had green leaves, and some of them had buds. The small buds could only be seen very close. Beside Wu Huifei was Princess Taihua. It was not clear whether she was the one that Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao talked about, but the various things that Wang Wan said did not happen now. Princess Taihua was very cute. Li Jun and Pan Er, who were older than her, were very curious and always wanted to touch her. Empress Wang was naturally the pair of twins, Jun Er and Pan Er, who were in her arms. Before the new year, they were sent back by Zhang Wang clan. They had not left for more than a month. One reason was that Empress Wang kept a tight watch on the harem. It was not easy for someone to hurt the two children. The other reason was that Wu Huifei was not in the mood to fight with Empress Wang now. Wu Huifei knew that as long as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not fall, she would not have any hope of winning against Empress Wang. But how difficult would it be to make them fall? Last time, when they were playing in the lake, even the emperor had tacitly acknowledged the existence of the two people in the Tang Empire. Li Longji enjoyed the peace in the harem. He looked at his children for a while, then at his two women, and finally at the wild flowers. These wild flowers are like the people in the world. They will not wither unless there is a drought. They will not die unless there is a flood. Why do the dynasties change? Compared to the drought and flood, the government is fiercer. I know. As long as there is a way to live, they will not rebel. Because Li Jun did not grow up in the harem and rarely came back, she did not have many scruples when speaking. When she heard her father speak, she immediately continued the conversation. Li Longji happily looked at his 3-year-old son and praised. Junior really knows a lot. That's right, as long as there is a path to survival, no one is willing to rebel. To be able to force them into a dead end, the person in charge is definitely not simple. Come, let Jin. Let Daddy hug you. Li Jun ran to Li Longji and opened her arms for him to hug. She took out the crushed baked potato chips from her small bag and stuffed them into Li Longji's mouth. Father, eat the chips. Li Longji recognized the chips immediately and muttered, when I wanted to eat them. He wrote back saying that there was no more. Where did you get them now? A year's salary penalty is too light. Father, Grandpa Zhang said that next year, no, this year there will be a lot of chips. Is that true? Li Jun did not understand what her father meant by a year's salary penalty. She only wanted to eat chips every day. It's true. Apart from chips, there are more good things. There are rare treasures overseas, and there is a greater threat. Li Longji began to think about the powerful country that Zhang Xiaobao mentioned. A hint of worry could be seen on his face. Your Majesty, bad news. Someone is making a move against Tang. Li Longji, who was enjoying the peace of his family, did not have time to suppress the worry in his mind when Wang Bei's shout suddenly rang from outside. The old man was not stopped. He brought Zhang Jiuling directly into the courtyard of Xingqing Palace. He was sweating profusely from the rush. Li Longji shuddered. His expression changed slightly as he asked anxiously, did they attack? Did Lu Zhou send the news? How many gunships did they lose? Do they still have the will to resist? They're attacking. Gunships. Your Majesty, who's attacking? Did the Zhang family and the Wang family rebel? Did they send gunships to the capital? Wang Bei was confused. He followed the topic and asked. Only then did Li Longji realize that it was not that country. He heaved a long sigh and waved his hand. No, no one's rebelling. Tell me in detail what Minister Wang said about making a move against Tang. Servants, give him a seat. A palace maid brought a stool and let Wang Bei sit on it. Wang Bei raised his sleeve to wipe his sweat. He took out the memorial and handed it to the emperor as he said, Your Majesty, the price of garlic has been increasing abnormally recently. I'm afraid that someone is deliberately raising the price. Please investigate this matter thoroughly. Japanese. Wind Logistics. What's your concern? After reading the memorial, Li Longji pondered for a moment and asked Wang Bei. Your Majesty, this is what I think. Wang Bei told the emperor about the matter he discussed with Zhang Jiuling. There were speculations and concerns, but there was no way to solve it. Li Longji listened quietly. When Wang Bei finished, he thought for a while and said, What Minister Wang said is correct. If we arrest him now, we won't have any evidence to prove that he's hoarding garlic, and we won't be able to catch him raising the price of garlic. Good plan, really good plan. It's not easy to have such a capable person in Japan. We'll take action when the new garlic is not out yet. By the time we find the evidence, the disaster will have already happened. Minister Wang, do you have a solution? Your Majesty, this subject can't think of a solution. Why don't we gather all the officials to discuss this matter so that we won't delay too much and suffer more losses? Wang Bei helplessly replied. He really didn't have a solution. Li Longji also thought so. Soon, a few important officials were gathered. They looked at the memorial and admired Fengqiao Shoji for coming up with such a solution. Li Linfu narrowed his eyes and pondered. Wind Logistics solution broadened his horizons. Logistics was naturally responsible for transporting goods, and there was a guarantee of compensation. Generally, logistics would want to lower the compensation price so that even if there was a problem, they wouldn't suffer too much loss. Wind Logistics was special. They offered 3 times the compensation according to the goods themselves. At the same time, they extended the review period of the compensation. The compensation would be paid within 3 months. The shipping price was also very low, half of other logistics. They also used the limited number of vehicles as an excuse to selectively accept orders. The orders they accepted were all for transporting garlic. In the end, not long after the garlic was transported, they told the owner that the goods were lost and they were willing to pay 3 times the compensation. Therefore, the people who lost the goods were not angry. Instead, they were very happy. This was more profitable than directly transporting the goods and selling them. It was like a meat pie falling from the sky. After the first batch of garlic was lost, the people who collected the garlic found a good way to make money. They began to collect large amounts of garlic and let Wind Logistics transport it. In the end, the garlic was lost after each shipment. With Wind Logistics' deposit in the Great Tang Bank as a guarantee, the people who collected the garlic were relieved. They tried everything to collect the garlic and raised the price again and again. They were not afraid of the compensation and were even willing to borrow money to collect the garlic. As a result, the price of garlic increased. Wind Logistics did not have any evidence to prove that they were hoarding the price. They were logistics, and losing things was not a good thing. They did not directly participate in the increase in the price of garlic, and did not organize merchants to do so. If they wanted to arrest them, they couldn't just casually charge them. Amazing. I didn't expect that a mere logistics company could do such a thing. It seems that they are not inferior to Zhang Xiaobao, Li Linfu said after reading the memorial. Zhang Zhong was unhappy when he heard Li Linfu's words. How could a Japanese be compared to his godlike son? He coldly snorted and said, "If my son wanted to cause trouble, would he only use such small tricks? My son is not willing to use such tricks in our Great Tang. Wind Logistics fluorescent light." Li Longji nodded in agreement. Xiao Bao has done a great service to our Great Tang. If he was not a citizen of the Great Tang, the consequences would be unimaginable. This time Japan is just a small trick, but it should not be allowed to be so rampant. My lords, do you have any good ideas? This subject thinks that we can ask Military Governor Zhang at this time. Li Linfu saw that Zhang Zhong was unhappy and pushed the matter to Zhang Xiaobao. He wanted to see if Zhang Xiaobao really could not do anything. Chapter 870. Li Longji listened to the officials argue back and forth, but in the end, they all wanted to find Zhang Xiaobao. He was extremely dissatisfied. In his view, it was better to only find Zhang Xiaobao when there was no other way. If he could avoid using Zhang Xiaobao, he would avoid using Zhang Xiaobao. Otherwise, if he needed Zhang Xiaobao every time there was a problem, what was the point of having other people? What if he exhausted Zhang Xiaobao to death? Seeing that none of the officials could come to a decision, his expression gradually darkened. Could it be that none of you have been attentively studying Xiao Bao's books? When it comes to economic matters, there must be a reason. You can either lead the way or cut off the foundation. If it really doesn't work, you can still compete with the other party in terms of attrition. Xiao Bao sent word a few days ago that he was busy with the Turkic matter. Don't distract him, right? Your subjects are incompetent, the officials replied in unison, bowing in tacit agreement. Yu Wenrong straightened up and suggested, "Your Majesty, since you want economic matters, why don't you ask the people on the top ranking of billionaires for advice and use commerce to govern commerce? Who does minister you think is suitable?" Li Longji indicated for Yu Wenrong to continue. This subject has heard that there are many new talents on the ranking, and that the names of the people on the ranking change frequently. But no matter how many changes there are, the top 3 have never been replaced. The other people on the ranking also have considerable wealth. The third person on the ranking is a great merchant from Hudong Road. He seems to be in charge of all the merchant associations in Hudong Road. The second person is Song Jinggong from Sanshui County. In the past, he had always been in the first place, and it could be said that he had received Zhang Xiaobao's teachings. But since last year he has fallen to second place. The first person is Xian Air, who is of marriageable age, the granddaughter of the former Minister of Revenue by Go. However, many people said that it was not because she was powerful, but because she had someone by her side who was now hiding behind her. Her name was Feng Lu'er, and she had a younger brother, Feng Xiaoman. He was a family that had fled from Tuqiao village in Sanshui County. He was valued by the Zhang family and the Wang family. He was very intelligent and learned a lot of things. He had settled down in the Joy residence and studied the ways of finance diligently. This subject believes that we can ask Feng Lu'er to come over and ask about the plan. Using the spear of Shang to attack the shield of Shang, we will definitely gain something. Also, that Bai Xian is currently in charge of the largest clothing and toy stores in our dynasty. Anyone from the Great Tang is proud to be able to own one of these two stores. They should have quite a bit of money on hand. Other than Zhang Zhong and Zhang Jiuling, who were familiar with the names mentioned by Yuanrong, the others only knew of the former minister Bai Go. It was not because of Bai Go's great achievements, but because Bai Go was able to live. He was almost 80 years old, but he was still able to wander around. Furthermore, he liked to be a storyteller. He would often go to a certain tavern to chat and exchange for some wine, dishes, and tea. This made people envious and speechless. Li Longji usually did not ask about this kind of thing. When he heard that the number one of the richest people had changed, he was very curious. There is such a thing. Good, go and ask Feng Lu'er to come over. Let her think of a solution. Asterisk, 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 south of the Yellow River. Eastern capital Luoyang. As the winter snow melted, rows of oxen were plowing the fields outside the city. Carts of compost were piled up in the fields and scattered everywhere by people. As the fields were turned up, the compost gradually mixed with the soil in the fields. The busy people's faces were red from the wind, but it couldn't hide the joy that came from their hearts. There were countless people coming and going in the city. Carriages and horses were clamoring. The restaurants and tea houses were already filled with all kinds of people by noon. Some were walking, some were resting, some were working, and some were drinking turbid wine, accompanied by a plate of side dishes. There were also scholars who were preparing to go to the capital to participate in the spring imperial examination. They were discussing the current political situation and the ways of learning. They were waiting for the warm weather to continue for a few more days before they took the fast boats specially prepared for the high scholar candidates to go to the capital. Firstly, the boats were fast and there was no need to worry about delays. Secondly, the capital was expensive. Those who were not rich did not dare to stay for long. There were also merchants who took advantage of the arrival of spring to inquire about the prices of various places. They had professional smiles on their faces. Regardless of whether they knew each other or not, whenever they met someone in the same trade, they would find something to talk about. This way, when they needed to be together in the future, they would not seem so distant. If one were to ask which restaurant was the best in Luoyang, it would naturally be between the clouds and the water, not far from Luoyang's capital. It was a 5-story building. The bottom 2 floors were cast from cement and steel. There were all kinds of exquisite patterns in between, complementing the fragrant green grass in front of the restaurant. The top 3 floors were made of mahogany, with ribbons dancing in the wind. The transparent glass windows, the warm winter and cool summer environment, and the feeling of gazing into the distance made between the clouds and the water in the eastern capital a place for the rich and powerful to show off their status. At this time, in the 5th floor of the Luo Water Pavilion, there were 3 people sitting by the window. Below them was the gurgling Luo water. Above them were floating clouds. The room was neither hot nor cold. The temperature indicator hovered between 25 and 26 degrees. Lord Yamamoto, you've worked hard. Storing garlic is an important matter. With Lord Yamamoto's hard work, I can finally free up my hands to do other things. One of the 3 people sitting in a triangle raised his wine cup and loudly praised the person sitting in front of him. The person called Yamamoto had no joy on his face. On the contrary, he was rather worried. Hearing the other party praise him, he also raised his wine cup and said, Lord Yamamoto, you were the one who suggested this. I was just running errands, so you can't say that I've worked hard. If we're talking about hard work, Lord Yamamoto has worked harder than me. Lord Yamamoto has been busy using the garlic he's stored up as collateral, obtaining short-term money from other people and depositing it in a bank so that the merchants who collect the garlic can rest easy. His contribution is greater than mine. And also, Lord Yamamoto, you were able to think of a good plan to raise the price of garlic. As long as we wait for 3 months, we'll definitely have a great harvest. We'll be able to buy many good things from the great Tang and transport them back to our country. No. Lord Yamamoto downed the wine in his cup in one gulp and exhaled a breath that reeked of alcohol. He shook his head and said, I'm not buying things back. I'm continuing to make money with money. The great Tang sold their useless cloth to Japan in exchange for a large amount of sulfur and silver. Many people in our country don't know about the great Tang's insidiousness, but I can't ignore it. Once I've earned enough money, I'll buy their technology and their good craftsmen back to build ships, cannons and guns. Lord Yamamoto, who had been listening this entire time, had already drunk 3 cups of strong wine, but he hadn't touched a single bite of food. When he heard Lord Yamamoto's words, he worriedly said, Lord Yamamoto, it's already not easy to earn money in the great Tang. It's best if we stop as soon as possible. Otherwise, when Zhang Xiaobao realizes what's going on, we'll be at a disadvantage. Lord Yamamoto, I don't like what you're saying. We haven't broken the laws of the great Tang. No matter how powerful Zhang Xiaobao is, he's still a human, not a god. I hope that he'll know as soon as possible so that I can compete with him and let him know the methods of the Japanese. Lord Yamamoto clearly didn't think highly of Zhang Xiaobao. When he thought about fighting with Zhang Xiaobao, he seemed eager to give it a try. When Lord Yamamoto heard Zhang Xiaobao's name, his face immediately paled. His hand that was about to pour wine couldn't help but tremble. In the end, he put down the wine pot and advised, Lord Yamamoto, don't provoke him. Lord Windbridge, don't provoke Zhang Xiaobao. I heard that he is not in the capital, nor is he in Jili province. There are rumors that he went to the Turkic Khaganate. Since he is not here, the 3 months are up. Let's finish this deal and see how he reacts. Otherwise, it will be too late for regrets. Lord Yamamoto, I'm not you. I won't buy cement and turn it into hard lumps. I also won't spend a lot of money to buy radishes and plant them like ginseng. Don't blame me for your failure. The price of garlic has already risen. Even if he knows, he can't do anything about it. This time, I've shipped over 1 million strings of silver and sulfur from the country. I can't just earn a little and go back. Lord Yamamoto, you have to quickly exchange all the sulfur and silver for Great Tang's money. 3 months later, I'll enter other industries. You have to listen to my orders and contribute to Japan together. Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto gloomily looked at Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto. He was clearly dissatisfied with their cowardice. Yes. Lord Yamamoto and Lord Yamamoto replied respectfully at the same time. Lord Yamamoto revealed a troubled expression. Lord Yamamoto, Great Tang no longer uses copper coins and silver. The silver we brought isn't easy to sell. Ordinary people don't need so much sulfur, and the production of firecrackers is strictly controlled. If we want to sell it to them, the purity of the sulfur must meet the requirements. Furthermore, Konan province doesn't allow people to refine sulfur privately. We have to think of other ways. Sulfur can't be refined privately, so we can sell it to the place where it is refined. The price can be lowered so that the people who collect the sulfur can benefit. I'm in urgent need of money. Sell the silver to the jewelry shop. You have to contact more merchants in this area. If there's no other way, we can use the silver to exchange for money. I need a large amount of cash to carry out the next plan. Lord Yamamoto was once again dissatisfied with Lord Yamamoto's efficiency. Lord Yamamoto looked at the wine and dishes in front of him and suddenly suggested, we can send the silver directly to the Great Tang Bank as collateral to exchange for a loan. That bank can eat a lot of silver, but the value of the silver will be much lower. 1 tael of silver can only be used for a loan of 400 copper coins. It won't be the same as before. Collateral, hurry up and do it. As long as I have Great Tang's money, I can earn even more. Don't hesitate and don't be afraid of the loan amount. Cash, I need a large amount of cash. For the sake of his plan, Lord Yamamoto no longer cared about the depreciation of silver. He believed that as long as he had enough currency in Great Tang, he could do many things that others didn't dare to dream of. This time, Lord Yamamoto didn't try to persuade Lord Yamamoto. No matter how Lord Yamamoto saw it, they could only follow suit. After all, he was the leader. However, the worry in their hearts didn't lessen. This was a matter that affected the livelihood of the people, and Zhang Xiaobao would definitely interfere if he knew about it. Lord Yamamoto hoped that Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't be so sensitive to the price of garlic when he received the news later. You're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.